Hello, my name is Sam, otherwise known as Function, and it's fantastic to be back with some more Supreme Commander Forge Lands Forever action. Today I'm casting one of my own games. I think this is the first time I've done this, casting one of my own games. It's a replay rather than a POV, I don't know. But yeah, one of my own games. I just played it, it was really fun. I did really badly, but I watched the game to the end, and I thought it would be a good one to cast because it was really interesting. So let's meet the players. I am playing Yellow Seraphim over on the left-hand side here. At the back, we've got Mr. Lenore playing Red UEF. Towards the front, we've got Hexed playing Burgundy UEF. And with Orange UEF to round it out, we have Stratege. On the other team, Team 1, at the back, we have got a blue Seraphim player, light blue Seraphim player, called Supreme AJ. At the front, dark blue UEF, Nickad. I've played with him a couple of times before. Over on the western side in purple Cybran, we have Jim Jack J, fantastic name. And then over on the right, the east, with Cyan Cybran, we have Noob Dragoon, also a fantastic name. The map is Miracle 10k. This is a 4v4 match-made game, so we've got a balance of 100%. Fantastic to see. Nothing super weird happening at the start. Everybody just building NGs. We've got our first offensive unit out for Stratege. So a striker there with a Snoop in tow. Potentially going to go for some NG kills. I actually lied. Noob Dragoon already has some offensive units out on the front. The side players tend to like to get a hold of this choke point. There's not a huge amount of mass, but it's just strategically valuable. Middle players go for the middle. There's more mass in here, much more mass. I actually wonder if the side players should go into the middle to secure that mass. But anyway, and then the back players play air, of course. A little bit of damage going down. The Mantis taking the worst of that. The Snoop sending some warning shots. Just make sure it doesn't show its face again. So this is me going face to face with my opponent here. Sort of doing a little bit of dance where we walk backwards and forwards, neither of us wanting to give up hold on the center. No tanks so far that I can see. We've got a couple of hunters out on the left hand side here trying to deny these mexes from me, but no Mantis, and no Mantis building actually. Still building engineers in that queue there, in that factory. I, on the other hand, I've shifted my initial factory to building half engineers and half THAMs, and then I've got another bunch of factories queued up that will all be building THAMs. Take a look in the center. Hexed and Nickad going face to face, those UEF comms with 12,000 hit points, so they won't be too worried. Going after that mass, the large Rex on either side. I think they're T2 transport ships, the Starlifters maybe. And then there's, what is that, 1,500 mass left to be reclaimed in small stones and Rex. There's, don't even know what these are, Snoop, Hunter Rex or something like that. No, they wouldn't be worth 24. I don't know what they are, but small Rex nonetheless. My opponent's backed off a little bit. Both of us on yellow health. 5.5k there for my opponent, and then I'm on 6.5k, but the Cybran with 50% more regen, 15 per second. The Seraphim and other comms with just 10 per second, so he will regenerate significantly faster. both of us getting a sort of forward radar. We've got a drop coming in over on the western side for Supreme AJ. We'll see what he gets done with that. A little bit of a fracas going on down here, trying to secure these more contested mexes. AJ just going for the drop on the little islands. Lenore a little bit slower on the drops. He hasn't, I don't think he's even built a dropship. No, just as I say that, he's got a dropship laden with engineers to collect all of these 4 mexes at the back here. Over on the eastern front, decent armies building up there. A dozen or so Mantis versus half a dozen or so Strikers. The Strikers going to lose. Gun upgrade, half completed there for Strategue, and 30% completed in the middle for Nikad. No other upgrades so far that I can see. I don't know if I've missed any. No T2s or anything. T2 Air being started there for Lenore. We do not have T2 Air on the opposing side just yet. I don't see any T2 land. If I remember correctly, this will be my T2 land factory. Take a quick look at the econs. My team is about 3k total mass ahead and about 10 mass per tick ahead in terms of generated eco, although that evens out as I say it. Look at the reclaim, pretty even, about 1000 mass ahead for my team. Bunch of T2 land factories being started on both teams, I believe. My mirror has not started T2 land yet, though. Just trying to probe his defences. I don't want to go forwards and leave all of this mass on his doorstep. Bomber coming in overhead. Lenore has a few interceptors in the area, so we'll hopefully make light work of that before they do too much damage. Because I am selfish and greedy, I have not built any mobile anti-air yet. Just going for the tanks and the artillery. Guns completed on both of those middle columns, and T2 started for both of them as well. Hexed a little bit further ahead. He has slightly better economy than his mirror. He's actually sending all of his units over to defend against this one snoop. Maybe not. But I've got a nice little run by. Well, could have been a nice little run by if I'd sent it up over here. I'm not really sure why I sent it into this pile here. I should have scouted that possibly. But now you can see all of these units going to move in and delete some of my territory there. I think the thought that I had was that I would draw his units over here and then send some of my units over to the west. See, I've got a little run by here, destroying some mexes. Yeah, denying a little bit of his territory. Not a good trade, I don't think, though. Willow's Duality, another caster that I'm sure everyone is aware of. He likes to talk about trades in this game. I'm trading units over here and units over here for a couple of mexes and getting a little bit of pressure. So not the best trade, but not the worst thing that could have happened, I suppose. We've got T2 Air complete for Lenore. He's not building anything, just going for that all-important power generation for that rear air player. He's actually got a couple of drops over on the islands over here. This engineer actually being reclaimed before he can do anything with it, but he has he's actually captured this Seraphim Mex. My opponent, Jim Jack J, Triple J we'll call him. Any Australian viewers will understand that reference. They Triple J is just reclaiming some of his territory, focusing probably a little bit too much on my side of the map, as we see a little bit of a collision in the center here. A couple of, well, one try and a couple of buzz kills built there for Nikad. So this push going to be thwarted for Hexed, preventing his opponent from getting control of the center, but unable to build those mexes himself. He's actually got a triad of his own, so this push coming in here won't be too effective. There it is. It's built 2 triads here. One of them was destroyed, so a lot of mass here in the center that Hexed will hopefully try and reclaim soon. Getting over on this side, not too much going on, just a little bit of back and forth. I've actually almost half completed my gun upgrade. I've been loving the Seraphim Combat ACU recently. Noob Dragoon in a little bit of trouble here, in range of this triad that's gone up, a second one going up as well. No, he's got the gun upgrade on this GOM, but no T2. Noob Dragoon bringing those units in to assist his comm. He's got a couple of hoplites in there for good measure, but he's also got an overwhelming number of Mantis. 2 triads will do decent work. Triads actually, I believe, have some AoE damage. Not sure if we'll see that. Now, Dragoon bringing his forces across into this central location. He's going to deny this mech, presumably. The triads pretending that they're helping. One of them actually in range of a mech here. I'm going to start work on that. Again, I've gone for another little push here on my side, but it hasn't really come to anything. I've got my comm back up to almost full hit points now. Looks like that gun upgrade actually gave me 500 extra hit points. I did not know that that happened. No, I probably should, because I probably play Seraphim quite a lot. But using that comm to full advantage, potentially going to get some overcharge. I'm not sure. There we go, an overcharge goes off there. I have Ilshivers over here. I set them on a move order out of the this T2 HQ. Should have probably brought them into the center here to assist with this push. I think I may correct that error soon. A couple of bombers coming overhead and a big push. That push that we saw before has continued for Noob Dragoon. Really, really valuable push going on there. My comm in a little bit of danger. Not too much though. I've got supporting units. I've got that gun upgrade. We have bombers coming in overhead. I've got a couple of mobile anti-airs. Those Ilshivers coming in will ensure that those enemy land units die. See what is going on over here. 2 T1 PDs have been produced now. Those Mantis having a very tough time of getting through that wall. See, some of the shots hit the PD, some of the shots hit the wall. PD not actually firing. Not really sure what caused that. I don't know if that's a bug. But Stratege bringing his comm back to defend his base. Hasn't lost a huge amount. He's lost a couple of mexes. He lost a bunch of factories, but hasn't lost a ton of economy just yet, although I suspect he's about to lose this. Stinger's coming in overhead for Mr. Lenore, saving the day though. Mycom getting far too aggressive, and the T2 fighter bombers from who is that? That is Supreme AJ. Came over to kill my comm. So, as you can see, I made terrible use of my commander there. Yeah, I was focusing on other stuff and I didn't see how low my hit points were going. And I paid the price. So, all of my base, all of my units going over to Mr. Lenore. I did get, yeah, I had this missile battery here, and you can see I'm telling my teammates that I killed the T2 mexes. One of my teammates actually pinged, I think it was Mr. Lenore, pinged that there was no TMD here, so I immediately set to work on building those missile launchers. Got 3 of those TMDs, 3 of those T2 mexes, excuse me. Pretty nice there. Telling my teammate to kill his land HQ. I'm not. Oh, I mean with the missile launchers. Yeah, I was using more pings to identify that I'd built those missile launchers, and then told him to kill the land HQ, which will be a big blow to his ability to produce valuable units. He gets the 4th T2 mechs, and now Triple J has almost no income, down to 11 income, which is not very good at all. Take a quick look at the economies again. My team significantly ahead, about 30k ahead, and 20 mass per tick coming in from those mexes. That T2 HQ has been destroyed by Mr. Lenore. Bit of a standoff going on. A lot of triads have been built up here. They're firing at the commander. One hit goes onto the... there you go. Finally kills that shield generator. So I don't think it's sort of AoE that the triads have. They fire 3 shots that are, I believe, simulated entirely separately. So if it gets kind of a glancing blow, one shot may hit the target, and then the other 2 shoot past and potentially hit something else if you're lucky. More missile launchers being fired, going for that non-HQ T2 factory, and they get the kill there. Making good use of the Ilshivers, moving forwards, trying to kill those rhinos and hoplites. I'm going to have to move back by the looks of it, but this push looking really good for Hext. He's killed this firebase. Must be a ton of mass there. You can see almost 8k mass on the screen. So if he collects that, that will be a huge boon to him. Moving forwards with 7 flapjacks. Those UEF mobile missile launchers, we'll see what he can get done with them. Looking like he's going for the fringe mexes at the minute. Nikag having to produce some buzz kills there. And a big fighter bomber strike comes down. Stratege not getting the best in terms of dodge. He was trying to spam up an air cleaner, but wasn't able to do it, and he does get clipped by the AoE of that bomb. So Stratege, the 2nd player to fall. Not looking especially good for my team at the minute. More triads being built in the center here by Hext. All of those units and structures went over to Mr. Lenore as well, so he has very much got his carry pants on. 200 mass per tick coming in. Team 1 significantly surpassing my team now with about 50 mass per tick ahead, although that has gone down. Maybe they were reclaiming something. So it's evened out a little bit now. My team, 34k total mass ahead. We've got bricks on the field now. Excuse me, Titans and Percivals. Titans are an extremely useful unit, especially against the T1 spam that is still coming out from Nikag. Gonna have to switch up to T2. He has T2 factory, slowly producing pillars, but he's still spending a lot of mass on T1 units, which will just get instantly blapped by those Titans. Push coming out from Triple J. He's rebuilt 3 of those T2 mexes. One of them he built as a T1 mex. Lenore now fighting on 2 fronts in terms of land and having to take care of the air game. He is at T3 air. He's got a strap bomber out. Do we see T3 air? We do have T3 air on Team 1 side. Titans and Percivals moving forward still, and almost a dozen flapjacks now assisting with this push. Bunch of engineers coming forwards into the meat grinder. Nice overcharge gets one of those Titans. Potentially an overcharge can get 2 of these units, gets a Titan plus half the hit points on a Percival. So not enough energy storage to kill T3 units outright at the minute. Well, certainly not Percivals with their 7,200 hit points. Moving forwards again, not deterred by that gun upgrade on the UEF commander there. Looks like Lenore should be able to take this base if he pushes forwards. One T1 PD, and a smattering of T1 units. Lenore conversely has, what is that, 8 Ilshivers, 2 more coming in, and a bunch of T1 spam assisting. No kills as of yet on this ambassador for Mr. Lenore. Got a whole lot of T2 fighter bombers, the Nothers from Supreme AJ. The 2 or the 3 blue colours are throwing me off a little bit, so I'm struggling to remember who is who. This is the new version of FAF, so all the match-made games, you have lots of red colours on one team and lots of bluish colours on the other team, but I actually missed that. I should have been following that. Those T2 fighter bombers come in, and another fighter bomber snipe for Mr. AJ. Mr. Lenore, sorry, Supreme AJ. Mr. Lenore not able to screen with those ASFs in time. Mr. Lenore is having to spend a lot of APMs. He's 1v4 now, but a really nice push into the base of Triple J over on the western side will alleviate a lot of the pressure that Lenore is having to put out. So that's one engineer slowly building mexes. Not sure what this is, presumably a radar or something like that, maybe a T1 PD. Yeah, Triple J's base just completely destroyed now, only bringing in, where is he, 5 mass per tick, 3 mass per tick. So not looking good at all for him now. Nickad trying to push forwards, but the supreme range and alpha damage of those Percivals failing, succeeding, excuse me, in repelling those units. The rest of Triple J's base being demolished by those Seraphim units that Mr. Lenore has been so graciously gifted by me. Cerberus turrets trying to be spammed up by Triple J, but with no mass income really. He was actually spamming them up quite quickly. He must have had a bunch of mass in storage or maybe gifted to him, but not quickly enough as those Thams, Bolshevas and Zoes come across. Decent number of units there for Nickad comes over to screen, will presumably prevent Triple J from dying. It does leave Nickad's base wide open if Mr. Lenore doesn't have too many things to focus on. See the pings coming out. May be able to get a nice push with these T3 units, but T2 Arty extremely good at defending against certain types of units. Static units will be obliterated by T2 Arty. T2 Arty also extremely good at fighting pretty much every land experimental. Big push coming in here. A brick, a bunch of rhinos, and a ton of T1 spam coming in from Noob Dragoon. Not enough units in defense there for Mr. Lenore on the right hand side. Got a couple T1 PDs. He's got an ambassador with 2 kills now. But looks like Mr. Lenore going to take a lot of damage over here. ASFs into screen. Significant number of ASFs for Supreme AJ there. Othum's out over on the left hand side and using those Ilshivers and Co, plus an Othum actually, to prevent Triple J from retaking this base. He's actually got a couple of T2 engineers in the area producing T2 point defense and hopefully going to reclaim all of these wrecks here. 30k reclaim on the screen there. A lot of reclaim to be had. Little push coming in here in the middle. You can see Mr. Lenore really being stretched thin He's having to fight on 3 fronts, essentially. He's doing very well on the left-hand side, not so well on the right-hand side, and a little bit of a stalemate in the middle. Myself and the other players from Team 2 that have died are making pings, trying to direct Mr. Lenore's attention, and we're also sending some messages. I was asking him to consider building broadswords. Those Ilshavers possibly pushed in a little bit too far and forgotten about, as they are going to get surrounded. Triple J just on 4,500 hit points. Ripe for a snipe, potentially. Let's take a look at those ASF numbers. 37 ASFs plus a handful of interceptors for Lenore, and AJ has 37, so exactly the same number. And both of them producing more every second. A little bit of a lull, let's speed it up here. Counter push coming out from Nikad, trying to retake this position here, but a bunch of T3 and T2 units coming out from Mr. Lenore to retake the position. Actually managed to defend this right hand side pretty well. Those T2 mechs is still standing, one almost converted to a T3 mechs. Unable to keep control of the outer mechs over on the right hand side here, but that is completely understandable. Producing a decent number of Percivals. What's that, 5, 6 Percivals over on the right hand side here, with a few Titans and a Parashield to support. And now those Seraphim units on the western side have made landfall, preventing Triple J from getting back into this game. He has actually been gifted 2 T2 mexes, so he's got 19 mass per tick income. My guess is that that's actually a mistake. That 18 mass per second coming from those 2 mexes is not really going to be used especially effectively, in my opinion. And a fat boy completed for Mr. Lenore in the 26th minute. So that is why we had a bit of a lull. Lenore working on that experimental. Do we see any counter experimentals out? And has Team 1, seen that? I don't think they have. Haven't really been focusing too much on what scouting they've been doing, but an experimental has been built there, a Monkey Lord for Mr. Dragoon. Noob Dragoon. A lot of Percivals firing into a rock. And T2 artillery firing on these units here. Oh, really wants to move those. He does get the move command in. Flapjack actually getting a little bit of damage down as well. Othums are really a very good unit. They have 2 weapons. One of them is fast fire and one of them is slow alpha damage. So a bit of a mix between Percys and Titans. Those long-range missiles getting into range there for this Monkey Lord. I don't know how much damage those missiles do, but clearly most of the damage in that microwave laser that the Monkey Lord has on top. And the Fat Boy also getting into range of some dirt here, so firing away. A lot of Percys, just 45,000 hit points on this Monkey Lord. A Percival shot does, I believe, 1,750 damage, so really doesn't take too many Percivals to kill a Monkey Lord, and you can see the Monkey Lord gets like 4 kills or something like that and dies. Should have really had the support from these regular units, to be honest. Fatboy getting a range of the defences here from Nickad. Do we see? We have radar of the Fatboy, and the T2RT is in range, but it's actually firing over at these units on the west here. Probably not the best use of that artillery. Nice number of engineers on a big old reclaim mission here. You can see this big chunk of reclaim that's been absorbed there, probably 10,000 or more reclaim. It's been picked up full of north. If we take a look at the reclaim numbers, actually he's on 31,000 reclaim, so almost 10% of his total economy is reclaim based. He's on 500 mass per tick. So he's a full 100 mass per tick ahead of Team 1 there. So clearly the economy advantage in Lenore's favour, but the APM advantage very much in Team 1's favour. 4 times the number of players to give commands. That said, Triple J is practically out of the game. He's not really doing too much of use at the minute. He's built a battery of Cerberus turrets, and bringing his commander back there. So he had a decent number of kills on that commander, 44 kills, 3 ranks of veterancy. Looks like a strap bomb snipe on the cards, potentially for Supreme AJ. Screening with the ASF's actually going to go for that Fatboy. The shield is down, so he's not having power troubles. He is, so less than half of the available hit points for the Fatboy. Goes down to just 400 hit points. Cougars in the mix will kill those strap bombers, but a 5th one comes in overhead. It gets the last bomb off and it gets that kill. Dies for its troubles, but it's certainly worth it. Let's get all of those numbers out of the way. I've still got that idle engineers mod activated. Forgot to deactivate it for the cast, but not to worry. A lot of reclaim here. 18k reclaim on that Fatboy. So potentially a good pickup there for Mr. Lenore. Funnel that mass straight back into his economy. He's not currently working on any more experimentals that I can see. And teleporter. So Triple J has the laser. He's being swiftly assisted by Supreme AJ. Laser complete. Teleporter will be up in about 1 minute 30. But a big push coming out now. The Fatboy softening up the defenses, destroying those triads and clink hammers, and now a bunch of titans plus a few Percys in the mix there will devastate those defensive units. One titan up here destroying a T2 mechs. Whole bunch of Percys, associated supporting units, Cougars in the mix there. Very nice idea, especially since we've seen effective use of strap bombers from Team 1. Triple J asking for power to complete that upgrade. I doubt he has enough energy storage to be gifted too much power, but siege achieved by those T3 siege bots. Heavy assault bots. Are these the siege bots? There's something is called a siege bot in this game, or maybe it's the siege tank. The Othum is the siege tank. There are a few Othums in there, so I stand by my comment. Siege has been achieved. Nickad's base being completely decimated. Those factories going up in smokes, including a T3 HQ. And T3 mexes to boot. Over on the right hand side here, Percival's going up against Bricks. Percival's with very poor formation, unfortunately, so taking a lot of damage unnecessarily. Get back into a better formation now, and we'll be able to clear out those Bricks, which they outnumber. Nickad's base entirely demolished now. Nickad's still alive back here, trying to build some triads, but he has... Well, he'll have 27 income here. Yeah, you can see 28 income, 27 from the T3 mechs, plus 1 income from the ACU. That T1 power grid destroyed as well now for Nickad there. Those Titans moving forwards. There was an air fight that I am commenting on in the chat there that apparently did not go well for Team 1, but you can see that Mr. Lenore making full use of these T3 units, pushing forwards over on the right hand side as well. Those Percivals will absolutely annihilate that paper thin Cybern Com. Just I think probably 8 hits from a Percival will kill a Cybern Com, and the same happening there to Nickad. Megalith was on the cards for Noob Dragoon, so a lot of his maths going into that, and he actually got about 40% complete, so that's a ton of mass that could have been producing bricks or services or something like that. Triple J defeated. He went for the telemaser, but managed to get through 19,000 hit points of that shield there. Very, very nice. I'm sorry that I missed that. I didn't even realize that happened when I played the game. I was focusing too much on this T3 push over in the north, sir. Getting mixed up. Well played, sir, says Triple J. Very, very well played indeed by Mr. Lenore. His team completely griefed him. Mostly this player down here, this terrible, terrible Seraphim player. The first to die, but Lenore making excellent use of that economy that was gifted over to him. You can see that without the shield upgrade, he absolutely would have died. 19,000 hit points on that shield, just 14,000 hit points on the chassis, and it looks like Triple J was actually able to completely get through the shield and deal about 4,000 or 3,000 damage onto the chassis. So if he didn't have that shield, he absolutely would have died. So fantastic premonition skills there from Mr. Lenore. And obviously he's the only one left, so he would have lost the game if that had gone through. Triple J, despite having his entire base destroyed early on, actually almost bring the game back for his team. That was their last ditch play, but thwarted by that tanky UEF ACU. So there we go. I just thought that was a fun game. It was a fun game to play at first, and then a fun game to watch the first time round, so I thought it would be fun to cast it. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment, a like, subscribe, all that jazz. But until the next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.